Hi, and welcome to the S.J. Child Show. The S.J. Child Show brings value to families through education, resources, and lots of laughs. You can find us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all of your favorite podcast platforms. You can also find our special children's books at sjchilds.org. This month is April Autism Action Month. All of our guests in April will be autism warriors, and we are celebrating them and bringing this to the forefront. Enjoy the show. Hi, and thank you for joining the S.J. Childs Show. I'm your host, S.J. Childs, and today our very special guest is Mike Carlson with Golden Healer Service Dogs, and he is here to tell us about the amazing services that he provides for families. Hi, Mike. Thanks so much for being here today.
Hi, SJ. How are you?
Wonderful. Please introduce yourself and tell us about your company.
Well, thank you. Yes. My name is Mike Carlson. I am the founder and CEO of Golden Healer Service Dogs. And we actually started the organization in 2019. So just a couple of years ago. And we're interested in doing this as a nonprofit. And so we applied for our nonprofit status and waited quite a while to get that. It almost took us an entire year, and then COVID hit. And so we kind of feel like we're brand new, to be honest. Even though we have had dogs in the service training program now for a couple of years and being prepared and ready to get going. My background is I've been around dogs my entire life, so over 50 years of experience with dogs. And never had a time in my life for very long that I didn't have a dog in my home, either as a child or as an adult, and started training dogs back when I first got out of my home and became an adult, and started to teach them how to hunt. I was a hunting guy, so I was a bird hunter. And so I raised Labrador retrievers and loved them, and loved the abilities that they had to search and find birds and flush them out. So
wow,
that was the start of it all as far as my personal dog training experience goes. And again, I've just had that passion, love for animals from the beginning. And later in life, didn't realize that I actually had some of my own mental health related issues due to my physical disabilities. So I have a rare skin disorder called epidermolysis bullosa. And as a child, it was really, I didn't realize that it did hinder me some with my social skills, because I was embarrassed of the ways that the sores would look on my hands and my feet, and people questioning what it was and what my issues, why I had problems,
Yeah.
So I tend to shy away from people a lot, and my animals were really my resource of keeping me motivated and happy and comforted, and when I felt alone. And so
love that.
I didn't really realize some of those things until I started working in the behavioral health industry about 10 years ago for a short time. And then I realized that, I have some of my own traumas that I had as a child that I needed to cope with.
Yeah.
And those all came through really, through the work of dogs. And as I started to learn about behavioral health and mental health related issues, I really fell in love with it and found that I had a deep passion for helping people who struggle with those challenges. And so I had this idea that I wanted to work with specifically youth and open up a troubled youth ranch, working with animals, and specifically dogs and horses. And so I started developing a program working with the kids and coming up with those ideas. And unfortunately for me, I just didn't have the finances to get the property that I wanted to do. And I was trying to work other various jobs, trying to establish this. But at the time we started breeding English cream golden retrievers, which I fell in love with the breed as soon as I found it. Just the calm, relaxing disposition that they have, and how they bring that into the environment that they're in, regardless of what they are. If they're just a pet or emotional support dog or service dog or therapy dog. And we'll talk about a little bit about each of those as we go through this today.
Yeah.
That's kind of just the background. I mean, there's a lot to the history of us, I guess, but I just want to give you a synopsis of that, and let your listeners know how we came about. Because we couldn't get the ranch, a lot of the dogs that we were breeding and raising, we found them going into various works of service work, and we were sending them off to trainers that we were trying to find in the area that could help with that, and couldn't find a lot of them in different areas. And so I started studying and taking courses from different places and different trainers on how to develop different tasks and train specific tasks for these dogs to help with the areas that we want to specialize in, mostly being in psychiatric service dogs, which encompass a lot of the other areas like autism, PTSD, anxiety, obviously depression, some of those things that people deal with mental health. But we found that really a lot of people in the autism community were reaching out and interested in finding out more about how these dogs could help in that area with autism. And so we have quite a few applicants that come in that actually are autistic. And so we have really almost kind of found ourselves catering, especially here in Utah, but all over the country, really. In fact, our first dog we placed was in Florida with an autism family with a 14-year-old autistic boy.
Wow.
And it's been an amazing experience. And we have 3 autism assistance dogs that are going to be graduating in April this year. So we're super excited, as this podcast will probably be coming out, that we'll be celebrating a big graduation will be our biggest
Wonderful
dogs at one time. So yeah,
I love
that answers the question, sir.
Oh, it's wonderful. You answered so many of them. I mean, what age groups you work with, the type of, neurodiversity clients you work with. I think it's so very important, just from my own experience with animals, the close relationships that you can build, the almost like trust relationships that you can build that really build self-confidence within yourself. And I'm sure that that's how you find that they help some of your clients as well. Tell us the type of, we were talking before we started about how if a family has a dog that, maybe doesn't relate with that family, tell us the process you go through to find out how you can find a dog for a family.
Yeah, that's a great question. So how it works with us is we have an initial application process that someone would go through to initiate the consultation, so to speak. So it's a simple on our website. They just fill out the application, and then we have a specialist contact them that understands the needs of the autism spectrum and goes through a series of questions of what they're looking for. Some people don't really know what they're looking for. They just know they need help, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that we can do to help answer those questions for them and give them some solutions. And hopefully a dog fits into some of that area. But some things we want to make clear is that service dogs are not for everybody. Mm-hmm. And so in that initial consultation, we will address those issues and see where the family is and what kind of situation they have, and decide if it's going to be a good fit or not. Yeah. And if it is, then we move to the next step, which would be sending out paperwork that they need to complete to give us an idea of the medical professionals idea of what would help the child or individual. We don't always just work with children, but so it would be helping that person that needs the service dog, and whatever their medical professional or therapist may say that would benefit them, then we would look at those options to help train for those specific tasks. Now, as far as matching up with the individual, then we have to find the personality of the dog, kind of match it up with the personality of the individual. So we have some nonverbal autistic children right now who need, a little bit different needs than someone who's more outgoing and friendly and, has more energy and can verbalize that. And so with the dog, commands obviously are part of the use that you have to help them understand what they need to do to perform their jobs. And so if someone can't give those verbal we could either teach them to do hand gestures or have the parents obviously be the person that helps advocate that. So they would be the ones who are actually the dog handler, and then they're the ones giving the cues and commands to the dog to help it perform. And so again, mostly it's just matching them up with personality as much as we can. It's got to be, if it's going to a child, then obviously the dog has to be okay around children and be happy to be around children. And so that would be a big thing. And then just being able to understand that they're a little bit different. So
now, obviously, you are training the dogs and you're going in and you're teaching them all these valuable skills. What about the families? What kind of training do people need to get a dog?
Yeah, so that again is very important for them to understand that we train the dogs as much as we can to perform basic obedience, good behaviors, and then the task specifically that we've been asked to train for. However, dogs are like people, and if we don't use our skills on a regular basis, we sometimes tend to forget or not as good at those skills as we are when we are proficiently practicing. So it's very important and critical for the families to continue the education and training. And so you might ask, well, how does one do that if they're not a professional dog trainer, right? And so we actually, once we have matched someone up with the dog, it usually is within around a year to a 2-year period of time that we match that person and then begin the training. So it's a long process. Once we've established a relationship or a match with the person. And then once we've completed the training, we have a graduation training class that we bring the families to here at our facilities in Draper. And they actually will go for an entire week and sometimes 2 weeks, depending on the situation, working every day with the dog. And then they take the dog home. So if they're local, they usually will travel to their own home here. If not, they'll stay at a hotel lodging area here and bring the dog with them so that they can start to bond with that animal. So that's the biggest key is, and where again, we make sure that it's a good match as they have that full week to bond and to make sure the relationship is good, that the dog starts to listen and starts to change from our training handling to the new handlers training. So it is a long process. And once they have learned and we go through the teaching and how to train each of those tasks and what they need to do to be able to do that, then we're here for them on a continuing basis. So it doesn't end after that. We are in constant contact with them on anything that may come up throughout the process. But really, it's just teaching the people how to continue to train and work with the dog so that it doesn't forget or get rusty.
Yeah, no, that's so important. Just like you said, we need to do the same thing. We need to always be practicing or we will get old and rusty on things. But yeah, I find that, I was telling you, I also bought an Akbash. I just got him for myself, but we decided to service train him. But our son didn't bond with the dog. And so the need for him to be a service dog wasn't there anymore. But now we have a very trained walker to go on walks with us. And he's great. But I love that you stay in contact with these families because it's so important that, if there's questions that they have, they feel like they can have a resource to reach out to because families really need to know that there are all of these services and tools available for them. And it's such a big part of what I'm calling for March, the Avengers of mental health, and it really fits all together with everybody needs a service, for their family that they can count on. And Mike here with Golden Healer Service Dogs, you can find them on their website. I'm sure I'll let you go ahead and tell us where we can find all of the information about you.
Yeah. So we have a website. It's goldenhealerservicedogs.org. And a lot of information, questions and answers are there on the process of what it takes to get a service dog, the costs, how all of that works, and basically everything that's there. And if it's not there, you can always send an email or request information through our comments section there. We also have a Facebook page and we're on most of the social media platforms out there. You can follow us on, and you can usually get most of that connected through our website. So
perfect. And I will have all the links down in the description for all of those things. And we'll also be showing some of these fabulous looking dogs that I keep seeing pictures of, gorgeous puppies. And we can talk about, the families that they go to. Hopefully you guys can let me know if you get one of these fabulous dogs and give a great review to the Golden Healer Service Dogs. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Mike. I'm excited to provide this information to families. I know a lot of families in our autism group that you're a part of that ask about this a lot. They really do. They really want to know what else can help with their family. So thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, thank you, SJ. I also wanted to just mention to you that, about our conversation just previously, the differences in some of the things people choose to do in bringing home a service dog. Some people want to get their own puppy and raise it and train trainers to train their service dog. But the reason we do the way that we've chosen to do this is exactly what you had mentioned with your own personal dog. Is sometimes it just doesn't blend well or mesh well with the family or the individual. And now you have invested all this time and money into a dog who unfortunately isn't going to be able to perform what you got it for, but you still love it. And now you have, an opportunity to have that dog, but maybe not fulfill its responsibilities. So with the way that we do, we try to eliminate that emotional attachment by having other people puppy raise the dog and develop the dog into what we need it to be, and then place it by matching it and making sure that the bond happens that way. So
I love that you said that. I absolutely love that you put that there because it's so true. Here we had this great idea, we're going to do this wonderful thing for our son. And then it didn't hurt anybody, but it didn't work out. And it was, you are left with a little bit of disappointment that, this didn't work out. And then of course, 2 weeks later, he fell in love with a little tiny, Schnauzer or something that we don't have. It was a neighbor's dog, but now we know.
Right.
So maybe finding the dog that like you said, you provide the service where you can match these personalities up That is really the smart way to go, to really invest in your family the right way. Agreed.
Yep.
So, what would you say are some of the benefits that a service dog could provide to a family with an autistic child?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I think it's important, again, for people to understand the true benefits that come from service dogs and what they actually do. So they are required to perform specific tasks through the ADA in order to be called a service dog. And these types of tasks range from all different types of things that the dog can do. But really, it comes down to what's the benefit for the child? Like, what is the child struggling with? And that's, again, where we have the consultation to find out what those needs are that the family would most benefit from to help them live a more independent life and help the family feel more secure. So really, service dogs for autistic children are provided mostly for safety and to help them with that. So kids that elope often, we have tasks that train the dog to either become an anchor or basically stop the child from eloping by simply having the child want to be with their dog. Yeah. So that's the biggest part, is just wanting them to be there. And then we do have safety measures in place where we actually can tether them for those that don't want to just hold on to the handle. Then if they still have issues to want to leave their dog, they can be tethered to the dog as well. And so there is that option too. And then the other things that so basically what would happen is the dog would just literally be that heavy anchor. They're generally larger dogs that we place with autistic children. So they're somewhere around 70 to 100 pounds possibly. Mm-hmm. And it makes it so that it's pretty hard to just take off on a run from that if they're tethered. So, but we really want to try to keep the child engaged with the dog. And so it really helps them with some of their learning abilities as well, because, and regulates their emotions, because they are able to connect with that dog and then want to stay with it. So really it's them just wanting to be around their best friend. And so it helps with the running on that. Other things that we do is it can help mitigate fears. So if, they have some social anxieties or, afraid of being in different places, again, that dog gives them that confidence to be in those places that they may not want to go into otherwise. And so there's some really good benefits that way. The other thing it can do is help with motor skills, can help with conversational skills.
Wow.
And eye contact. They can start to learn to look into the dog's eyes, which will then help them obviously relate to other people that way. It can help them with empathy and social cues, because they're learning how to treat the dog and be kind and gentle. So there's a lot of things besides just performing tasks that the dog can do. But with the tasks, they can help, like I said, with eloping. They can actually do what's called pressure therapy, which they will either put their entire body on the child if it's having a meltdown, or they can also just do pressure on the lap or on the legs, depending on what, again, is going to be best for the child. And we would assess that when we do our consultation and then our training with the families. But we've actually seen where a dog helped a child in a meltdown situation, and what would normally take 10 to 15 minutes for the family to actually get this particular boy out of his meltdown, it was about 30 seconds. The dog was able to get him up and laughing and running around the yard.
Wow.
It was just amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So just simple things like that are how these dogs work. And of course, there's all kinds of things with sensory and petting and just a lot of things that will really help. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that that's great. We definitely needed to know those benefits are so important for families. Agreed.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here today. It was such a pleasure to talk to you. And I love, like I said, I love to see all the pictures of these beautiful dogs and what an amazing service you're providing for families.
Yes, I look forward to hopefully maybe doing this again later on.
Absolutely. We will be checking back in with you to see, hopefully you're going to get this ranch in the future, right? And
Yes.
you can keep that dream alive.
Absolutely.
Great. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thank you.
Bye.
Kind of guy that keeps you warm at night when you are cold. I'll grab some blankets from my bed, wrap them around your chest, and I'll pull you close. We'll flip some channels to find out there's nothing on right now to ease your mind. Sit back, relax, there is no rush, no need to speed things up. All we have is time to think about the future, forget about the past. Time to figure out a way to make this moment last. To make this moment last. To make this moment last. So let's make this the kind of love that we've been dreaming of when we sleep at night. We'll get a little house to live in, have a couple kids, and we'll sleep tight. Cause baby, all we really need are just a couple things to stay alive. And everything else in between, just trust my heart, you'll see. We're slowly coming. Time to think about the future, forget about the past. Time to figure out a way to make this moment last. To make this moment last. To make this moment last. Sunrises, sunsets, I won't let you forget that I need you. Spring comes as spring goes, forever you will know that I love you. Sunrises, sunsets, I won't let you forget that I need you. Spring comes as spring goes, forever you will know that I love you.